So, I'm going to talk to you about some things I've learned in my journey. Most from experience, some of them I heard in passing, many of them I'm still practicing, but all of them I do believe are true. Now, they may be truths to me, but don't think that that makes them mine, because you cannot own a truth. So please think of these as signposts, approaches, paradigms that give some science to satisfaction. They're yours to steal, they're yours to share, liken to your own lives, to personally apply in your own lives, in your own way, should you choose to. So, here we go. Number one, life is not easy. It is not. Don't try to make it that way. Life's not fair. It never was. It isn't now, and it won't ever be. Do not fall into the trap, the entitlement trap, of feeling like you're a victim. You are not. Get over it and get on with it. And yes, most things are more rewarding when you break a sweat to get them. Fact. Number two, I love this one. Unbelievable is the stupidest word in the dictionary. Should never come out of our mouths. It may be spectacular, it may be phenomenal, most excellent or outstanding, but unbelievable? Give others and yourself more credit. It just happened. You witnessed it. You just did it. Believe it. Nothing that we Homo sapien earthlings do is unbelievable. And if there's one thing you can depend on people being, it's people. So acknowledge the acts of greatness as real, and do not be naive about mankind's capacity for evil, nor be in denial of our own shortcomings. Happiness is an emotional response to an outcome. If I win, I will be happy. If I don't, I won't. You see, happiness demands a certain outcome. It is result reliant. And I say, if happiness is what you're after, then you're going to be let down frequently, and you're going to be unhappy much of your time. Joy, though, joy is a different thing. It's something else. Joy is not a choice. It's not a response to some result. It's a constant. Joy is the feeling that we have from doing what we are fashioned to do, no matter the outcome. See, joy is always in process. It's under construction. It is in constant approach, alive and well in the doing of what we're fashioned to do and enjoying it. Number four, define success for yourself. Define success for yourself. Now check this out. Humility is not in vogue anymore. It's too passive. But we all want to succeed, right? So the question that we got to ask ourselves is what success is to us. Continue to ask yourself that question. Now your answer may change over time, and that's fine. But do yourself this favor. Whatever your answer is, don't choose anything that will jeopardize your soul. Prioritize who you are, who you want to be, and don't spend time with anything that antagonizes your character. Here we go. Number five. Process of elimination is the first step to our identity. All right, so get rid of the excess, the wasted time. Decrease your options. And if you do this, you will have accidentally, almost innocently, put in front of you what is important to you by process of elimination. Knowing who we are is hard. It's hard. So give yourself a break. Eliminate who you are not first, and you're going to find yourself where you need to be. Number six, don't leave crumbs and the beauty of delayed gratification. So what are crumbs? Well, the crumbs I'm talking about are the choices that we make that make us have to look over our shoulder in the future. They come in the form of regret, guilt, and remorse. You leave crumbs today, they will cause you more stress tomorrow, and they disallow you from creating a customized future in which you do not have to look over your shoulder. So let's flip the script. Instead of creating outcomes that take from us, let's create more outcomes that pay us back, fill us up, keep your fire lit, turn you on for the most amount of time in your future. Number seven, Dissect your successes and the reciprocity of gratitude. Now, the easiest way to dissect success is through gratitude. Giving thanks for that which we do have, for what is working. Appreciating the simple things we sometimes take for granted. We give thanks for these things, and that gratitude reciprocates, creating more to be thankful for. It's really simple, and it works. Now, I'm not saying be in denial of your failures. No, we can learn from them too, but only if we look at them constructively, as a means to reveal what we are good at, what we can get better at, what we do succeed at. Number 8, make voluntary obligations. I'm talking about the ones that we make with ourselves, with our God, with our own consciousness. I'm talking about the you versus you obligations. We have to have them. Now again, these are not societal laws and expectations that we acknowledge and endow for anyone other than ourselves. These are faith-based obligations that we make on our own. Number 9, from can to want. Look, just because you can? Nah, come on. It's not a good enough reason to do something. Even when it means having more. Right, be discerning. Choose it because you want it. Do it because you want to. Number 10, a roof is a man-made thing. We do our best when our destinations are beyond the measurement, when our reach continually exceeds our grasp, and when we have immortal finish lines. And when we do this, the race is never over. The journey has no port. The adventure never ends because we are always on the way. Take the lid off the man-made roofs that we put above ourselves and always play like an underdog. Number 11, turn the page. You ever get in a rut? You know what I'm talking about? You get in a funk. Get stuck on the merry-go-round of a bad habit. I have. Look, we're gonna make mistakes. You gotta own them. Then you gotta make amends. And then you gotta move on. Guilt and regret kills many a man before their time. So turn the page, get off the ride. You are the author of the book of your life. Turn that page. Number 12, give your obstacles credit. I think fear is a good thing. Now, why? Because it increases our need to overcome that fear. All right, so say your obstacle is fear of rejection. Well, instead of denying those fears, declare them. Say the fear out loud. Admit it. Give them the credit they deserve. Don't get all macho. So give your obstacles credit, and you will, 1, find the courage to overcome them, or you will, 2, see more clearly that they're not really worth prevailing over. So be brave, have courage, and when you do, you get stronger, you get more aware, you get more respectful of yourself and that which you fear. Number 13, so how do we know when we cross the truth? Well, I think the truth's all around us all the time. I mean, I think the answer, is always right there, or right there. I think it's all around us. We just don't always see it. We don't always grasp it, hear it, access it. Usually because we're not in the right place to do so. So what do? First, I believe we've got to put ourselves in the place to receive the truth. Then the second part comes, which is to personalize it. Ask yourself how it works for you, how it applies to you personally, why you need it in your life specifically. And if you do that, then comes the third part. Have the patience to internalize it and get it from our intellectual head, thinking about it, and into our bones and our soul and our instinct.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living." I'm sure people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on, but I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything except my faith. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. Fall forward. This is what I mean. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks. The point is, do you have the guts to fail? If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I'll say it again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. My wife told me this great expression: to get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. You got to give it everything you got, whether it's your time, your talent, your prayers, or your treasures. Because remember this, you will never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. You can't take it with you. So the question is, what are you going to do with what you have? Never be discouraged. Never hold back. Give everything you got. And when you fall throughout life, remember this: fall forward. Never give up. Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. So, keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So, keep moving, keep growing, keep learning.
"99% of people that say stuff like that are not willing to do what it takes to make their dreams come true." The Marines have a saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And that's just real. At the center of bringing any dream into fruition is self-discipline.
Nobody knows what you are. You can't get advice on what you should do with your life. You got to do it alone. As much as you want people to agree and you want the people around you to be supporting your dreams and all, it's not going to be like that. You got to take your shot. When you get the ball rolling, people will jump on. But if you don't believe, nobody else is going to believe. People come along because your belief is so insane. Following your dreams is a lonely, solitary, scary, dangerous pursuit. You can't wait for somebody to think you can do it. You gotta be fearless, you gotta be relentless.
The greatest thing in my career career has been the constant commitment to putting something in the world of value. I think as long as you can stay focused on delivering your art and delivering yourself and delivering your energy and delivering your ideas for the world to be better,
you have to be able to be vulnerable in front of anybody. You know, you have to be comfortable looking silly. You have to be comfortable making mistakes. And you have to break the thing inside of you that doesn't want people to see, right? Because as soon as you allow people to see, all of a sudden you get access to things that you didn't realize you had access to.
As a child, my parents always told me you could be whatever you want to be. You could do whatever you want to do. It was something I heard my parents saying it, but I didn't totally believe it. Yet I went out in the world and I carried myself and I held my head high. And I stood there and I looked people in their eyes and I talked to people as if I was deserving of everything that this planet has to offer. If there was one concept that I would suggest to people to take a daily confrontation with, is fear. Skydiving is a really interesting confront with fear. You fall out of the airplane and in 1 second, you realize that it's the most blissful experience of your life. You're flying. You start falling, you fall in, and there's zero fear. You realize that the point of maximum danger is the point of minimum fear. God placed the best things in life on the other side of terror. On the other side of your maximum fear are all of the best things in life.
We are honored to present the Chairman's Award to one of America's most creative talents. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tyler Perry.
Sometimes you have to be hidden. Sometimes people are not supposed to recognize you. Sometimes people are not supposed to invite you to the table. Because I tell you now, had I went the route that I wanted to go, what would have happened is I would have ended up in Hollywood and did the deals that everybody else had done. And there would be nothing different, nothing spectacular about the blessings that I've received. It would just be an average story. But because I was hidden, because I didn't know how it went, because I didn't know how things were supposed to go in film and television, that ignorance allowed me to carve my own way. I know this may be difficult for some people to understand, but hear me clearly when I say this. Because I was hidden, because nobody knew what was going on with the success that I was having on the plays, it was all underground. When I got there, I was able to make deals that were unprecedented. They didn't think there was anything to it because they didn't know who I was. Completely underestimated. The great thing about being hidden is that you can be underestimated. And when you're hidden and you're underestimated, you're able to do some things that will not only change your path, your life, but the lives of millions of people, the ones around you, your children, your family. It will uplift and change everybody and everything. So what I say to you is, if you're struggling and you're fighting to be seen, sometimes you're supposed to be hidden. It's not your time to be seen yet. Stay the course. Learn what you can. Walk in the path that you're supposed to at this time. And at the right time, God will reveal you, your talents, and everything you've done to the world.
Focus on one thing, make it your priority, and stick with it no matter what.
What I would say to people who want to become me is don't become me, become the best you can be. Because what I found very early on is that all of the power that you have and all of the strength that you have and all the ideas that you have are born in your uniqueness. And what makes you unique, and this may sound really silly, but it's just really true. What makes you unique is what makes you special. If you spend your whole life trying to conform, trying to be what somebody else thinks you should be, or fit into a mold or fit into a system, and you dull down your specialness, then you're dulling down all of your ability to change the world. So I think that it's very, very important that people have an opportunity to be the best of themselves that they can be.
I am a human being. There's no difference between my humanness and your humanness. The only thing is, if you're trying to get there, you cannot stop believing in any way. No matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody tells you, you have to know it beyond knowing it. And it is a feeling. When something is for you, there's a feeling that is deep down inside of you that will not allow you to let it go. It will keep you going when you can't even keep yourself going. There comes a time in your life where you've worked and stressed and you tried to get there and you couldn't on your own, but you have a dream. And that dream has to take on the belief for you because you can't do it by yourself. So what I would tell you is this: don't stop. Narrow your focus to one idea, one, and make it work. That will give birth to all the others.
Maybe about 18 years ago, I bought this house and I kept getting these insane water bills. Anyway, my neighbor told me I needed to dig a well. So I called this guy over to come, an engineer. He comes out and we're walking the yard and he's putting out all of these orange flags as to all these places he thinks that we could find water. As he's digging one, I said, okay, go ahead. So as he starts digging this one well, didn't hit anything. And I was like, wait a minute, you just dug this deep and I still have to pay you even though you didn't hit water? He's like, that's how it goes. I'm like, okay, fine. So then he goes on to the next one. Little flag, he's digging, never hits water. He goes to the next one, never hits water, and I keep having to pay these bills, and I got so frustrated, I said, never mind, I'll just keep paying the water bill because I'm not gonna do this. A few months passed, I still get these crazy water bills, so what I decided to do was call him back. So he comes back out, I said, you dig right here, this well, and you dig and you don't stop until you hit water. So he starts digging. He gets down to about 800 feet, he said, we haven't hit water, this is pretty deep. I said, you keep going. Gets down a little deeper, still has not hit water. I was like, you keep going, you keep going. He said, okay, we're gonna take the night off. We're over 1,000 feet deep, we'll be back in the morning. That night I thought about it, I said, you know what, I'm just wasting money, I'm not gonna do it. As soon as he gets in the morning, I'm gonna tell him to stop digging. That morning he comes out, he starts the machine, I'm on my way down to him, the machine starts. He was 4 inches away from the water that I needed. Why am I telling you all this? Why am I talking about digging for water? In this world, we're all digging wells. In our lives, we're digging wells. We're digging wells in relationships where we put all this time and effort and energy, and sometimes it doesn't give us what we need. We put all our time and effort and energy in our dreams and our business, and it doesn't give us what we need or what we were after. But if you just keep digging, my God, if you could just hear me right now, just keep digging. You may be 4 inches away from every gift and every blessing that you've ever wanted in your life. Had I given up when I was homeless, when I was sleeping in my car, when I was hungry, keep digging. Don't stop. And let me tell you something, listen to me. When you get there, when you get to that water and you see it's coming and you know you have what you need, this is what I want you to always remember. Make sure that everybody you run into meets you at your worth.
Let me give you this simple little talk. How to go from average to fortune. There's 5 simple steps. Here's the first one. Get serious. That's number 1. I don't know any substitute for that. You've really got to get serious. You don't have to be grim, but you must be serious. I know a guy that's got a half a dozen jokes keeping him from becoming wealthy. He's not known as rich. He's known as a joker, which I guess is okay if that's the kind of life you want to live. But it really isn't the best way to live. To go from average to fortune, you must get serious. And you must get serious about two very important things. Number one is setting your goals and where you want to go. Designing the next 5, the next 10 years is so vitally important. What do you want to do economically? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be? What would you like to have? What would you like to share? How much would you like to earn? How far would you like to go? Those are some major questions to ask. And for that all to work out like you want it to for the next 5 or 10 years, in my personal opinion, you've got to get serious. Then you have to get serious about another important subject. And that important subject is called personal development. Personal development is striving hard to become the kind of person that you want to be. And to become the kind of person you want to be, you've got to work at it. So to answer the question of where you want to arrive and the kind of person you want to be, you've got to get serious. Now, the second point is get smart. To make your life work out worthwhile, you've got to have some ideas. You've got to have the information. So you've got to be smart. In fact, in this decade, you must be much smarter than you were in the last decade. You've got to read the books. You've got to come up with the information. Get smart. There's nothing worse than being stupid. You just must keep up this steady process of learning. Never cease your quest for knowledge. And that's one of the key points to go from average to fortune. Get smart. Now here's number 3. You've got to get going. All of the things that you've learned will not do you that much good if you don't put it into an action plan. You've got to get going. Get going, that's the key. Some people are ever learning, but they don't put it into action. They don't really take the action. It's like the man who keeps bringing materials to the building site and never builds anything. He keeps bringing in the sand and the gravel and the windows and the doors and the roofing material, and he just stacks up all these supplies, but he never builds anything. See, if you do that long enough, fairly soon they'll come and take you away. You've got to do something with what you've learned. You've got to take action. You've got to get going. Get going. Now here's number 4. You must get excited. And not just the false enthusiasm of just pure positive thinking. You've got to get excited over some very basic things. One is, get excited over your ability to make yourself do the necessary things. Because discipline is major step 1 toward personal progress. It doesn't ever have to be the same after today. So that's number 4, get excited. Get excited about your potential. Human capacity is usually never the problem. All we need to do is take the time to do it. So it's not a matter of capacity. It's a matter of judgment. It's a matter of excitement. It's a matter of will. And it's a matter of wanting to bad enough. So it's pretty exciting to know that any day you wish, you can change your life. Any day you pick out, you can make major changes. Number 5 is get away. I have found, especially in the last 15, 20 years, that there's an important thing called life balance. You've got to learn to get away. You must learn to get away and be alone. Learn to get away and reflect. Learn to get away and learn how to live as well as how to earn. How sad it would be to learn how to earn well, but not learn how to live well. You must balance your life. Some people are successful, but they don't know how to spend their success. They don't know what to do with it. They don't get joy from it. Rather, they get animosity. Then you've got to take time to cultivate good friends. You've got to take time to be with your family. You've got to take time to be with the people who are important to you, designing your life in those respects. Get away. Take the time. Reflect on your life. Recharge your batteries. So those are the 5 simple steps to go from average to fortune. Get serious. Get smart. Get going. Get excited. And get away.
Nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And a lot of times you have to learn to perform without motivation. You have to be your best self when you're least motivated. so many people that have the ability and just refuse to get off that couch, refuse to study a few more hours, refuse to go deeper, to go further. And that's where I gain the advantage. You have to cap it. You have to learn to cap success. I believe everybody should live their life. So everything that someone says in life, take it with a grain of salt. Take what they give and don't be like, oh, David Goggins said this or whoever said this. No, do not take what I say and do exactly what I say. So for me, what makes me who I am, because my mission is very different than yours or anybody else's. I'm a guy who wants to make people better. For people to get better, I have to continuously get better myself. For me to do that, I can't just say, oh, I have this resume, the resume is there forever, I'm good. I have to cap my success, because for me to help people out, I can't just say I did it once and I'm good. I have to continue to reinvent the wheel of the mind. You must continue to evolve. And you don't evolve, for me, in my job, unless I cap myself somewhere and say, okay, you made this much money, it's time to get back to work. It's important to stay hungry, but it's important more to stay humble within that hunger. So while you're hungry, a lot of people are hungry, but humility is everything. They think it's a permanent fix. They think it's something that a constant. They think that maybe once I get it, I'm gonna hold on to it. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And a lot of times you have to learn to perform without motivation. You have to learn to perform without purpose. You have to learn to perform a lot of different things. And that's what people think. They think I need to have this motivation to work out, to study, to be better. So if they don't have it, they just don't do it. And that's where you fail. You have to learn to train your mind well beyond motivation. Your mind has to always be clear. That's why I meditate 2 hours every single night. Because I refresh, I reorganize the garage, which is my mind, every night. So then discipline's in there, organization, everything is in its right spot. Every place I went in the military, there was this ethos about how this place is, how we're gonna live, how we're gonna represent ourselves. And I walked around and I saw that most people didn't live up to that ethos. Like if you go to whatever company, they have this mission statement on how we want to run our company. I made one for myself on how I want to be. And that is why if people can make up a mission statement, an ethos in which they want to live by, and every morning you wake up, you hold yourself accountable to that mission, not a company's, your own. Make up your own mission statement. What do you want to be in life? And once you do that, now you can work with somebody to get better. You can work with yourself to get better. But until you know what you want to stand for, you will always just be sitting down. You'll never stand for anything.
How can I find more discipline? Don't lie to yourself. You got a good job, you got a good family, you got a house, you got a car, everything's good. That's fine. But there's a chance that that's not fine. There's a chance that you're lying to yourself. And that's why you're asking this question, by the way. The reason you're asking this question is because you can't find more discipline. You want more discipline. Why do you want that? Because you know you could be better. And there's something in your mind that's saying you could be better. And you know it. And you know that the way you could get better and the way you could do better and the way you could be more is by having more discipline. If you lie to yourself and you're like, well, you know, I'm in pretty good shape and my family's doing fine and I like this house that I'm in and my job's good enough. If that's the lie that you're telling yourself, maybe you can sleep just fine and maybe it's hard to be disciplined in those scenarios. So what you need to do is you need to tell yourself the truth about what the hell is going on in your life. Where does discipline come from? It comes when you make a decision to be disciplined. Become the discipline. Embrace its cold and relentless power. Discipline is rooted in the truth we tell ourselves. That's what it is. Discipline is rooted in the truth we tell ourselves. Because if you tell yourself the truth, and the truth is, I'm not happy with where I'm at. That's the truth. The truth is, I can do more. The truth is, I can be in better shape. The truth is, I can work harder than I'm working right now. The truth is, I can do more for my family. The truth is, I can do much better than I'm doing right now. If that's what you believe, if you believe that to be the truth, you won't have to find more discipline. Discipline will find you. It will wake you up in the morning. If you don't think you are disciplined, it's because you haven't decided to be disciplined yet. It's because you haven't created it yet. It's because you haven't become disciplined yet. You're not getting to spend time with your kids in the morning because you're sleeping late and now they're going off to school and you haven't said good morning to them, haven't sat down and eaten some bacon with them or done a quick workout with them. And you know that would make you better and you know it would make them better, but you're not doing it. Why? Because you're being lazy. So tell yourself the truth about the situation that you're in. That's what we need to do. If you're lacking discipline, you gotta start telling yourself the truth. And if you do that, the discipline will find you.
You have absolutely no control. You are like a slave to you. You are a slave to your personality. You are a slave to some of your vices. You are a slave to some of the things you like. You are a slave. I'm in control. You're not in control. I know you don't want to wake up. You don't have an option. Get up. We trying to eat. There's a certain lifestyle we want. Every single dude that I knew that was about it in business, they were disciplined, right? Discipline. Now this one right here is spooky because I met a lot of men who were very successful financially and they thought because they had money, they didn't have to be disciplined and they end up losing everything. They end up losing everything. They weren't disciplined. At some point, you're gonna have to learn to be disciplined. You're gonna have to learn, if you say you're gonna wake up at 8 o'clock, you're gonna get up at 8 o'clock, no matter how you feel. Like you gotta be disciplined. And to get to the next level of success, you can't just have energy when you got energy. I wanna make sure y'all catch that. If you're running a business and it's 365, then 365, you gotta wake up every day and you gotta go get it. Why? Because if you don't hunt, you don't eat. So here's the deal. If you hunted in January and you got enough food for January, you don't get to chill February. You got to get up in February and go get enough food. And so what a lot of us do, we aren't disciplined. Like we're not self-motivated. We're not self-regulated. If another human can tell you to get up and go to work and do what you're supposed to do, why can't you pretend like if you need another human, be the human. You be that human. If you need somebody to tell you need to lose 100 pounds, be your own voice to tell yourself you need to. Don't go pay nobody $50,000 to lose weight when you can do it yourself. And I'm not saying don't get a person, but at some point you got to cut that person off. Why? Because if you don't have personal discipline, you'll never get to the next level. Like you drinking in the morning before you go to work. He gone now. He's no longer with us. You drinking in the afternoon. You drinking at night. Like I'm feeling you like to drink, but like all day, every day, the weekend, the weekday, and some of you, there are things you like, you have absolutely no control. You are like a slave to you. You are not where you want to be, not because you need any more gifts. You don't need nothing else. You need to discipline yourself. You need to learn to tell you no. You keep talking about everybody else you can't tell no. You can't tell you no. You can't tell you stop. You can't tell you quit. You can't tell you nothing. You got to get to a point where you're disciplined. And what separates the talented, if everybody's talented, if everybody's equally gifted, what separates us is discipline.
What brought you there? What has brought you to this point? What did you learn from it? Are you learning anything, or are you doing it over and over and over again? Somebody said that insanity is doing the same thing in the same way, expecting a different outcome. See, life is rough, ladies and gentlemen. It's rough, and it's scary. It's scary growing. It's scary taking a chance. It's scary acting on your intuition, on your guts. It's scary. It's frightening. There are people that's tolerating things right now, and they're immobilized by fear. They can see the hammer coming, and they're afraid to even move because it's scary. If people can put you on a guilt trip, they will, and use you and abuse you over and over and over again. You got to draw the line. You have to draw the line on them. Don't go through life feeling like you're powerless. Victims are people that are powerless. You're not powerless. You are powerful. You direct the power in your life. Whatever your life is right now, it is a duplication of your consciousness. It's a result of how you have decided to use your power. That's all it is. That's not who you are. That's just a perverted use of your power that you aren't satisfied with. And you've got the power to change that. Wherever you are, how, I don't know. But I know you've got the power to do that. The other thing is, take full responsibility for your life. Accept where you are and the responsibility that you're going to take yourself where you want to go. Someone said we have two primary choices in life. We can either accept conditions as they exist, or we can take the responsibility to change them. See, a lot of people want to exempt themselves from taking responsibility. All they want to do is talk about the problem. Every time you see them, they'll tell you their story over and over and over and over again. No. You want to take responsibility for your life. I got me here, I can get me out of this. And I'm getting out. I'm not going to be a volunteer victim. And so all you're looking for are new breakthroughs through practice and practice and practice. You'll get better and better and better. And there's still some things that will happen to you that will catch you on the blind side that you did not anticipate. You'll get knocked down, but you won't be knocked out. And so I say to you, it's possible you can live your dream if it's becoming a diamond, if it's having more, if it's achieving more, if it's being a better father, being a better mother, whatever it is, overcoming addiction, changing our society. It's possible you can live your dream. It's necessary that you have a plan of action, that you're resilient, that you stick to, and you work with the system, that you work with people, that you give support, and that you be there for them, that you have the vision and never give it up, that you become creative and relentless and keep on coming back again and again and again, and that it's you that you got to take personal responsibility to make it happen, and that it's hard. Easy is not an option. And when life knocked you down, jump back up and said, it's not over until I win.
Do you know the secret ingredient behind every success story? The quiet force that turns average into extraordinary. This ingredient is a superpower that can transform your life dramatically. Whether you are aiming to master a new skill, improve your health, or trying to build a successful business, this superpower is the key to unlocking your potential and achieving long-term success. The ingredient? That superpower? Consistency?
Personally, I've just been very consistent with the process. I've been very consistent with training my body, rehabbing my body, eating, having my body be very clean throughout this journey, because I've always wanted to have a long, long career, or as long as I could be, in this space. So I've always kind of, a friend of mine when I was like 13 years old, he used to always tell me, play hard, have fun, and stretch. Every game, always play hard, have fun, and stretch. And that kind of always kind of stuck with me to even when I got in the NBA, like always stretching and keeping my body flexible, keeping my limbs flexible. So I can contribute to that and doing it consistently. Just like leadership, leadership is not a one-day thing, or you do it for 2 days or 2 months. Leadership is consistent.
I realized I was spending things on material items and not things on myself, on my being, on my fitness, on my health. I've switched that completely. Like I said, my nutritionist travels with me full time. My doctors, my training partners, my coaches. Yeah. I have a full team, and it's all for health, fitness, and peak performance. We've got to be in shape. I think a trait of the successful is to train early, wake up and train early. You've got to be successful, or you've got to be in shape. Yes. To be. You've got to be in shape physically to be in shape mentally. Yes. They go hand in hand. Yes. So I'm putting a lot more time into that.
I want you to think about whatever your dream is, because I was willing to take a chance, and most people won't do that. Most of the people that you talk to, these are not risk takers. Most people have done all that they're ever going to do. They raise a family, they earn a living, and then they die. But people who are running toward their dreams, life has a special kind of meaning. And here's what I will share with you, that in the process of working on your dreams, you are going to incur a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure, a lot of pain, a lot of setbacks, a lot of defeats. But in the process of doing that, you will discover some things about yourself that you don't know right now. What you will realize is that you have greatness within you. What you'll realize is that you're more powerful than you can ever begin to imagine. What you will realize is that you're greater than your circumstances, that you don't have to go through life being a victim.
But it's what's got to be done. This is what it takes. I'm here for a purpose. So it's basically up early in the morning, ice bath, train, come back, eat, sleep, repeat. The 1% distractions. And in a game of sports where it's based on margins, 1% make a big, big difference.
Every sunrise is a promise of a new beginning, a testament to the relentless consistency of nature. But what about us? How often do we stay on the course of our actions only to see ourselves move away as challenges arise? Because we continue to be unaware of the incredible power of consistency. It requires showing up every day and conquering small actions, which eventually lead to big results. Remember, consistency is your greatest ally in achieving your goals. Even the smallest of consistent actions can lead to monumental change. Embrace consistency and change your life forever.
What do legends know about limits? Absolutely nothing. When defeat looms, they push harder. Where obstacles appear, they forge new paths. Have you ever wondered what made Muhammad Ali the greatest? The legend will reveal the power of discipline and the spirit of never giving up.
The greatest of all time, ladies and gentlemen, LeBron former three-time heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali.
The central part of your training, is it running, is it sparring, or?
Dodging the nightclubs and the parties and the girls. And being in the bed by yourself at 9 o'clock at night. If you can get by that, you'll make it. I mean, that's the truth. But I'll tell you the truth. You talk all that running and hitting the bags and jogging and vitamins, you won't. Dodging ladies is the main thing. Especially when you're pretty like me.
Everyone must choose one of the two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Muhammad Ali.